Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and I've got a number of things to share with you in this exciting Moon Lambo video. Get ready. Have you popped your popcorn? If not, you might want to go ahead and pause so you can throw some of that in your mouth as we going through all this. I'll be here when you get back, don't worry. Take a look at this headline. This comes from XRP Arcade, which is run by Leonidas, a member of the XRP community. RipplePowered MoneyTap, the most effective service in the new Japanese QR standard. I've also got some comments from Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse, and he's effectively indicating, hey, here's why it's probably a good idea to diversify your investments into the cryptocurrency asset class. And he ends up linking to a Bloomberg article with a freaking paywall. Really grinds my gears. So those are a couple of things that we'll be running through in this video. But before we go any further, if you would please delicately tap that like button, but don't smash it. I just mentioned in the last video, somebody smashed the like button in a video just yesterday, and the repair estimate ended up being over $3,000. You don't want to be responsible for that, okay? I don't want to have to go to small claims court and litigate with you. Just a delicate tap will do. It is sufficient. And also go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel and join the greatest echo chamber in all of the YouTubes and the XRP community. All right, we're going to start off with a happy little joke here. I just like this. Here's a picture of a man in a hole in the earth with a headline: man digs 12-foot deep hole without realizing his metal detector was picking up his steel toe cap safety boots. 4 chuckles from me. How many did it get out of you? All right, into this now. From XRP Arcade, RipplePowered MoneyTap, the most cost-effective service in the new Japanese QR code. MoneyTap is a consumer-focused blockchain money transfer app built by SBI Holdings and Ripple. MoneyTap went live in October 2018 and was incorporated into MoneyTap Limited in March of 2019. A total of 35 Japanese banks and institutions have invested in the company. Now, the Japanese Ministry of Internal Affairs and Communications has launched a project aimed at popularizing the unified QR code/barcode for payments, known in short as JPQR, which is a unified standard for QR code payments established by the Cashless Promotion Council. And by the way, part of the reason that this is fascinating, just to make sure we have proper context, MoneyTap, by the way, will be utilizing XRP that has been announced. Now, by combining the settlement QR codes of multiple companies into one QR code, it is possible to deal with the settlement of multiple companies with only one QR code. As Yahoo Japan reported, JPQR supports 18 payment services, including RipplePowered MoneyTap. Small stores will be able to collectively introduce multiple smartphone payments. And in the past, it was necessary to individually apply for each smartphone payment. And at the same time, one QR code will be able to support multiple smartphone payments. So there you go. A whole bunch of efficiency. Up until now, JPQR was supported only in Wait, Toshigi, Nagano, Wakayama, and Fukuoka. That's how you say all of those prefectures. From June 22nd, the nationwide expansion of JPQR will begin, and applications from stores nationwide can be submitted. So that's a fun little update, right? How about that? It's just fascinating to me. There are certain entities that keep popping up in the news, and it's the entities that keep popping up. This is just kind of a side note, but the entities that keep popping up in the news, whether they're specifically banks or remittance companies, just some sort of financial institution, they keep adopting new technology, and a lot of it catches my attention because it has something to do with Ripple and XRP. And it's fascinating that a lot of the times it just seems to be a lot of the same companies over and over again that are just on the cutting edge. But that's just how it is. When you look at adoption of technology, if you've ever seen a technology bell curve, there are early adopters, and then there's the early majority, there's the late majority, and then there are the laggards. And some entities out there are going to be dragged to what is happening now, kicking and screaming, but that's just the way this goes. And from a business perspective, it will be to their detriment should they not adopt this type of technology sooner. But specifically, XRP is going to be changing things. And I mean, it already is. It's functionally being used as we're sitting here talking today. It is functionally being used to move money around the planet in a meaningful way. It's cool stuff. All right, next, this is something I just want to share with you, just because it's a tweet from David Schwartz, who is, of course, Ripple CTO and co-creator of the XRP ledger. It was in response to a tweet from XRP Junkie, who wrote the following. Just curious, has anyone ever inserted a USB plug the correct way the first time? I'll tell you what, it's never happened to me. Even though, in theory, it should just be like a 50-50 shot, it's literally impossible. And I don't mean figuratively, it's literally impossible. David Schwartz agrees, and he wrote the following. Not possible. Until you observe the position by looking or flipping, they're in a quantum superposition of states that always blocks. And so it's a little quantum mechanics humor out there. And I'll tell you what, I don't know if you're like me, but I've heard explanations of what like quantum mechanics is so many times. I don't even know how many times, just surely dozens. And I sit there and I listen to it, and even to this point, if you were to ask me what that is, I couldn't define it. I don't even know how the people that are actually studying this it's like they really can't explain in simple terms to make the average day person understand what it is. And it's not like I'm a dummy here. Maybe I just haven't come across the right person that's good at articulating in some sort of memorable way what it is. But I don't know. I could loosely talk about some of the attributes and the quote unquote spookiness, as Einstein put it, around quantum mechanics, but that's about it. As far as actually citing a definition, I don't know. But there you go, David Schwartz making a little humor on that particular topic. Tell you what, plug it in a USB cord really steams my vegetables. All right, and here's a tweet from Gavin Anderson, who wrote the following. Scaling Bitcoin in 3 easy steps. Number 1, scale Ethereum. Number 2, trustlessly tokenize your Bitcoin. 3, transact using the wrapped tokens on the ETH2 chain. Galgatron, XRP community member, responded with one sentence. They're already doing this on the XRP ledger. You gotta love that. And for those of you that don't know what he's referencing here, the XRP ledger has a built-in decentralized exchange on which you can issue IOUs. So meaning you can issue a representation of any asset in existence, or even not in existence for that matter, on the XRP ledger. You could issue an IOU that represents Bitcoin. You could issue an IOU that represents gummy bears, just pick Skittles, whatever. It doesn't matter. Just pick whatever asset it is, or even non-asset that doesn't exist, because you technically can do whatever the hell you want. And there you go. It's a representation. So it's not that Bitcoin would move to Ethereum or would move to the XRP ledger. That's impossible. What we're talking instead about is having a representation of that Bitcoin on a faster blockchain, so that the Bitcoin itself doesn't have to move. It can stay parked, but you can still transact with the IOU, and then whoever owns it. And so while Galgatron wrote, they're already doing this on the XRP ledger, and they pretty well are, there's one little part that I'd like to address here. Number 2, they wrote, this Gavin guy wrote, trustlessly tokenize your Bitcoin, and he's referencing doing that on the Ethereum blockchain. It's really not trustless to this point, and maybe there's a particular way around this. But when you're talking about issuing an IOU, whoever issues it, they control it effectively. So we can look at it as centralized. It's a centralized issuance of an IOU, an asset, on the XRP ledger. So that does require trust, and you absolutely can get burnt. So you better know who it is that you're dealing with. But it doesn't mean there's not utility to it. If you want to transact ownership of Bitcoin utilizing an IOU on the XRP ledger or on Ethereum, you certainly can. Just beware that it seems to be, to this point, a centralized solution. If there's some sort of way around it, I haven't really thought through that. Perhaps there is. I just haven't spent time thinking about it, but maybe that'd be a fun topic for a different video. Either way, I just wanted to highlight it because I just like this guy. Nothing against him. I don't know who Gavin Anderson is. He came up with what seems to be, on the surface, a rather reasonable solution, not realizing that XRP ledger is already doing it today. All right, next, here's a tweet from Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse, who wrote the following. Burr jokes aside, which are hilarious, we need to take a cold, hard look at how many countries are likely on the precipice of extreme inflation. Diversification into other asset classes, including crypto, could help stabilize markets in the future. And then he linked to a Bloomberg article. First of all, when he wrote Burr jokes, and then in parentheses he writes, which are hilarious, I didn't know what the hell that was. So I Googled it, and I guess I found what he's talking about. One of the first things that popped up was a drawing of a burrito with a scarf, putting its arms around itself, saying I'm cold, or Burr, I'm cold. And then below, it's spelled out what it is, which is a burrito. Oh my God, it's like the stupidest joke. You get a B-R-R-R-rito. It's totally my style of humor. It's dumb AF, man. But anyway, so I think that's what Brad Garlinghouse is referencing here. I guess I'm just not a cool enough kid to have known what that was. I'm just not in the know. I'm not hip hop happening, if you will. Now, as far as the Bloomberg PC link to, unfortunately, it leads to this beautiful little paywall here, so I wasn't able to see the article. Coil, when you goes to fix this? Get your technology adopted globally so that I don't have to deal with paywalls and I can just stream payments in real time, because I'm willing to do that, but I'm not going to go to Bloomberg enough to even justify this minimum startup of $1.99 a month. I have no interest in doing that, because you can imagine how many websites I have to do that to, just for the one-time sake of seeing an article. No. Especially when you have to enter a credit card, and then if you forget to cancel, then that just keeps perpetually billing you. No, not doing it. But if Coil could get adopted globally, that would just be super duper. Come on, Stefan Thomas, please make it happen. But this was covered by crypto media outlet You Today, and they titled their piece, JP Morgan praises Bitcoin's resilience while comparing it to traditional assets. And this is just so funny when you had Jamie Dimon just in 2017 talking about how Bitcoin is a scam or poison, whatever the hell he called it, threatening to fire employees if they were engaging and interacting with Bitcoin in any capacity. And now you got JP Morgan just a few years later making money off of this asset class and saying, yep, it's comparing it to traditional assets, yep, it's here to stay. What do you know? How about that? Freaking idiot sticks. Anyway, JP Morgan Chase has finally admitted that Bitcoin is here to stay. Bloomberg reports. The strategist of America's biggest bank by assets under management highlighted the longevity of the novel asset class after it managed to recover from the cataclysmic crash that sent shockwaves around the cryptocurrency back in March. The report states that the leading cryptocurrency proved to be more resilient in terms of liquidity when compared to traditional assets such as U.S. stocks during the all-out collapse. The bank also notes that Bitcoin constantly bounces above the cost of its production, as displayed in the chart below, which is currently on your screen, if you care to take a look. But check this out. Here's the subheading. Not going anywhere. This acknowledgement comes after Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan, called Bitcoin a fraud back in September 2017 when the top cryptocurrency was gearing up to hit its all-time high of nearly $20,000. A few months later, Dimon regretted his dismissiveness and agreed that blockchain, the technology behind the world's first crypto, was real before the bank announced its very own cryptocurrency called JPM Coin last February. And so there you go, and that's why Brad Garlinghouse, I think it was a rather salient point here. Diversification into other asset classes, including crypto, could help stabilize markets in the future. And as far as being on the precipice of extreme inflation, I'm curious to see what's going to happen here in the United States, because holy hell, money just is getting printed like crazy, United States dollars. But it's not only happening in the United States. It's just so notable here. Certainly thanks to, simply the United States having the number one economy in the United States. So that's something. So printing trillions of dollars, it's just, doing that clearly is not sustainable. It's rather notable that this is occurring, and it's unprecedented. But I feel like for the last 20 years that I've been really following this in any sort of meaningful way, it's like with each little bit of time that passes, year by year, they keep delving further and further into unprecedented territory, and find this time it resulted from a pandemic. But geez, where is the end? Is it in sight? I don't think so. The debt's here until something catastrophic happens. That's what if I had to guess, that's what the reality of this all is here. But we'll see if extreme inflation happens with the United States dollar, and if not, certainly it'll happen with other fiat currencies, some of them around the world. But that's it for this video. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything, because if anything I say or write, that would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!